Hello, everybody. Today we are going to examine a real-world cross-border M&A negotiation. As you can see, here is a brief summary of Tata Motors and Ford negotiations for Jaguar and Land Rover. What was the situation? In 2006, after having lost almost $13 billion, Ford decided to sell Jaguar and Land Rover. The key parties in the negotiation are Ford, the seller, Tata Motors, the Indian bidder with global acquisition experience, the unions with over 16,000 UK employees, and other competing bidders. The core issues were price, job preservation, UK production, continuity, component sourcing, and others. There were also many challenges for Tata. The first one was about an Indian company acquiring iconic British luxury brands. And also, Tata didn't have any experience with luxury cars. Besides, you had union concerns and also cultural and political sensitivities. What was the competitive advantage of Tata? Besides its size and strong financial position, it also had a history of hands-off acquisition strategy, retaining local management and no layoffs. That were proven in previous deals, for example, when acquiring Daewoo, the South Korean truck maker. So let's see how we can use different assistants to analyze this negotiation. So the first assistant that will help us in exploring the negotiation is Erin, the cross-cultural management assistant. I will let you see later how I built the system instructions, but let's see how it performed with the prompt and the attached documents. So I provided two documents of the negotiation. One is a preliminary reading that provides the overall situation and context of Ford at the time, and then some private information about Tata and how it has been negotiating in previous deals, international deals, and also the situation of Tata at that moment. The prompt, as you can see, is very simple. Please perform a cross-cultural analysis of the attached document. That's it. So Gemini has been thinking for more or less 24 seconds, and here is the overview. It provides two different options to tackle the negotiations. The first one is have a direct and transparent communication. Engage with the unions, with the employees, and the UK government. And that's a very, very good advice. Communicate clear public commitment to preserving jobs, maintaining UK manufacturing facilities, and upholding existing salaries and pensions. Frame the acquisition as an investment, not as a cost-cutting. And also highlight shared values, for example, Tata's charitable trust ownership and long-term perspective that really aligns with a broader sense of social responsibility. There is also a second option that says beyond immediate assurances, Tata needs to strategically address the deep-seated skepticism about an Indian company owning iconic British luxury brands. So the first actionable step is to explicitly commit to preserving Jaguar Land Rover distinct British heritage. The second is to reframe synergies. Instead of focusing on direct product line synergies, which analysts doubt, reframe the value propositions around capability improvement. And this is true because Tata wanted to also acquire technologies and also showcase the hands-off integration model that Tata has been applying in previous acquisitions. Now, all of this is built on some theoretical foundations of cross-cultural management. The first is the strategic partner, Tata, that is a blend of collectivism, long-term orientation, and particularism. Very interesting. So he used Hofstede's collectivism and long-term orientation, Trompener's particularism and diffuser relationships, and Lewis' model of multi-active culture. And then he went to Ford, and which are the main culture dimensions? Hofstede individualism and short-term orientation, Trompener's universalism and specific relationships. And then the third main player are the UK stakeholders. So and for them, national identity, job security, and Britishness were very important. And the analysis, I highlighted Hofstede as lower power distance in the individualism and nationalism and brand loyalty. Very, very interesting. And then went with something that is more advanced, the role of face and public perception in high-stake acquisitions, especially mentioning loss of face. That is not exactly what Asians call Mianzi or Kibun, but Ford's concern about its image in the UK and the widespread skepticism about Indian ownership indicate the importance of maintaining a positive public perception. Very, very interesting. And then there is a synthesis at the end. We also examined the same M&A and cross-border negotiation with Deepak, the negotiator. And again, the prompt is very simple. Same two files have been attached. Has been thinking for a bit more, 49 seconds. And here we have the output, relationship assessment. It provides a very, very quick summary of the two files. Interest as Tata, strategic market entry expansion, cost-effective acquisition, preserve Jaguar Land Rover brand identity UK operations, for sure. Likely other parties' interests. And what is interesting is that it has Ford's interest, diverse Jaguar Land Rover quickly and efficiently, maximize sales price, but at the same time maintain brand image and reputation. Why? Because UK was the second largest market in the world for Ford. United's interests for sure are preserving jobs, salaries and pensions, maintain production investments, ensure long-term viability of Jaguar Land Rover. Other behind-the-table players are the parent company of Tata Motors and the management. Issues and options, the price of sale, the option to negotiate Jaguar Land Rover separately, preserve jobs, production stays exclusively in UK, continued sourcing of engines from UK Ford plants, and buyer commits to continue planned R&D investment. So some creative options, for example, ensure a guaranteed employment period, joint management board, investment in skills and development, why not? And then objective arguments that Tata can bring to the table, a proven track record of ethical acquisitions, a strategic long-term investment philosophy, and Jaguar Land Rover's intrinsic value improving performance, because the two brands were improving performance. Alternatives for Tata would be focus on organic growth or pursue other overseas acquisitions. For Ford, sell JLR to one of the other two preferred bidders that were Mahindra & Mahindra and One Equity Partners. And here are the aspirations, very interesting. The questions to ask to uncover information. For example, beyond financial considerations, what are Ford's key concerns? Opportunity to make trades. For example, Land Rover was much more appealing to Tata than Jaguar because Land Rover had, at the time, almost no competition. So, but for sure, Ford wanted to dismiss both brands together, also because they were very integrated inside the production lines and the dealers. Negotiation strategy, lead with known price issues, package deals, present comprehensive proposal, bundle commitments on jobs, UK presence and R&D with the proposed sales price. Very, very interesting. And address Britishness proactively. Leverage Tata's unique acquisition philosophy, calibrated questions. This is the tactics. There is a supplementary analysis that asks for scenario number one. What if for Ford is the most important thing is the price? The second is what if for Ford the priority is a clean exit and reputation, as it was? And what if the unions are able to steer Ford's decision? Again, highly plausible. Anticipating key objections. Tata has no experience managing marketing luxury brands. Tata will move production and jobs from the UK. The price offer is too low. And additional creative options. Joint R&D initiative post-acquisition. JLR is a center of excellence within Tata Group. Specific market development partnerships. Contingency on regulatory approvals and performance milestones. Very interesting. And also Britishness brand stewardship council. form an independent advisory council comprising prominent UK automotive figures, JLR heritage experts, and potentially UK government representatives to ensure the preservation and promotion of JLR's iconic British heritage. Very, very interesting. And at the end, we have the usual transparency process. Now, as you've seen here, we had two different analyses with the two agents, because in Type in Mind, we cannot bundle them. But then we also performed an analysis creating a workflow. And the workflow, I called it cross-culture negotiation. Again, please analyze the attached case study, very simple user prompt. The same two files have been attached. And here the workflow is built around Erin, the cross-culture management assistant that we saw earlier. But in Cassidy here, it can be linked to Deepak, the negotiation preparation. And we have a third agent that is the compiler. It takes the two outputs from Erin and Deepak and creates a comprehensive final output. And the final output is an integration of the two outputs we saw before. So we have relationship assessment. The cross-culture analysis here is a bit different. Bear in mind that some of the instructions change between Type in Mind and Cassidy. More or less here, we have a first option. Respectful integration relationship building approach, the same. Leverage cultural humility and adaptive communication to address skepticism and build credibility. Theoretical foundation, high context and low context in communication, trust building mechanism and integration approaches. We have again Erin Meyer, we have Trompenars, stereotypes and ethnocentrism, stereotypes and ethnocentrism, and face. Again, it comes out as it was earlier, and also gives us the assumptions. And then we move to the negotiation. As you can see, we have the interest, internal stakeholders, issues and options, and then it moves to our interest and also the other party's interest. And here we have more players involved. We have Ford, we have unions, we have JLR management employees, very interesting, and also UK public media. Maybe we could have also included the dealers for Jaguar Land Rover. Issues and options, and it's more or less what we saw earlier. The formatting of the aspiration was not great. It didn't come out as I expected. Questions to ask, opportunities to make trades, negotiation strategy, and supplementary analysis. Now, how did I build the workflow? Here you can see the workflow. The workflow is built on a manual trigger that uses a user prompt, file 1 and file 2, Erin, the cross-culture management assistant that besides the system instructions also has a user prompt that is quite comprehensive. I also worked on providing a very, very low temperature to the assistant. It means it has to be very, very deterministic. And then the information, and what is the information that is provided to Erin are the user prompt, the first file, and the second file. Then we move back the negotiation preparation. Again, very comprehensive user prompt that are in addition to the system instructions that are under the hood. And here again, we have what comes in is the output for Erin, the cross-culture management assistant. And then Linux, the compiler, we have again user prompts, and it will receive the two outputs from Erin and Deepak and provide the final output. So it's a very, very simple workflow that integrates the two assistants. And here we have the very, very comprehensive system instructions that are 65,000 characters. Here we have Deepak, and as you've seen also earlier, it has even more characters, 78,000 characters. Very, very comprehensive system instructions. So you can build the system instructions, and you can use the same system instructions also in Cassidy, but if you have to add also user prompts to explain the two assistants how to behave when they have to receive an input and create an output for another agent. So because they are part of a workflow, we need very specific user prompts that are not as comprehensive as system instructions, but are complementary to show them that you are not alone, you are part of our workflow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our channel and to our newsletter in negoai.ai. Thank you.